Duh.
I pray to God he gonna be with me when I finally lose my mind. Said I could be myself if you want. You said, please don't be no one else that you are. So I hate the world and everything in it, just to get you off my mind. Who doesn't wanna get naughty? Who doesn't love a good party? If it's on the true equal logic, no matter what, we gon' swallow it. Trust no one win everybody. Kill us in a kill with Bacardi. And play to the sexiest martyr. He gon' tell us on the hobby. I got 22 steps left till I get to your doorstep. Will you let me
Program is rated MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. It does not matter who the host is. You know that already. I think we know that. I think we discuss it all the time. Anyways, today's Monday, March 14th of 2022, day 73rd of the year, and only 292 days left to go. Anyways, how was your weekend? Did you have fun? Did you do anything exciting? Did you do anything that you would be willing to talk about here? Okay, just maybe willing to talk about all together. So I hope you had fun times during the weekend, because that's always important, opposed to just going around and going, I did absolutely nothing, because that's not fun. It's not fun to do that. But anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and of course, hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio.
Yes, we are also hanging out at RadioBig.fm, so there you go. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about what was going on over the weekend, as we are seeing the trends of the trends of the trends of the trends. So Saturday was National Girl Scout Day, so of course that was trending on Saturday. Turning Red was trending Saturday as the Disney Plus movie, which became available on the streamer platform, received rave reviews for viewers on social media. I actually watched it yesterday. It was all right. Hashtag blame Gabe Biden landed on Twitter's top 10 on Saturday as social media users called for president for laying blame on everyone but his own administration for all of the current going-ons. And then Twitter users reacted to the news of Tracy Braxton passing. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Sunday was National K9 Veterans Day. K9 Veterans Day. Yeah, that was the thing. And then, of course, Daylight Saving Times was Sunday. Parents across the country, minus those in Hawaii and Arizona, shared one big expirated yawn while cherishing one another with the giant cups of coffee. So there you go. And then last but not least, let's talk about it. Fans were tweeting about Tom Brady's unretirement last night because he made the announcement that after some decisions, he has decided that he is going to come back for a 23rd season. I was wondering if it had anything to do with now he's being requested and required to take the trash out, to no fanfare, and all that kind of stuff. All kidding aside, it's good to hear that he is coming back if that is what his heart desires. In regards of doing so. Because that's the thing. I mean, he said he was retiring and it was after a loss of a game, or shortly lost after a game. So was it the right thing? Who the freak knows? So there you go. So anyways, let me explain some things real quick, just in case if you're not familiar in how we do the thing around here. We are a show that talks about things in the world of safety, and we talk about things in the world of news. So what does that mean? That means that we will talk about the world of safety, we will talk about the world of news, and then sometimes do a combination of both. And then people will get very confused on, why isn't it all about one thing? And that's perfectly fine. If you want to call in, you're more than welcome on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That is callinradio.com. That will get you into our little system here and get you moving and grooving on what exactly is going on inside of this world. So that will get you into the system. All you have to do is just go to callinradio.com, and that will take care of it. Anyways, let's get you into the world of the news as we are moving and grooving, because I think that might be slightly important. So let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Ukraine and Russia will hold virtual peace talks today. On Twitter yesterday, an aide to Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said negotiations go nonstop in the format of video conferences. The conference comes after Russia attacked a base near the Polish border with a missile strike this weekend. The former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine is calling for serious consideration of a no-fly zone in Ukraine.
It deserves serious consideration. I think we need to look at the gamut of options that are out there for us. We need to calculate the risk and be smart about it.
Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, Marie Yovanovitch said the actions of the U.S. amid the ongoing Ukrainian conflict need to better match the rhetoric. She also stated that Russian President Vladimir Putin would take advantage of a U.S. response to the invasion that was less than bold. Retired Admiral James Stavridis suggested revisiting the idea of sending Polish fighter jets into Ukraine, saying sometimes Plan B is working harder on Plan A. Americans are wondering why prices are sky high at the pump when we never used much Russian oil to begin with. Mike Bauer reports.
Although the U.S. barely uses any Russian oil, importing 90,000 barrels of oil a day, Russia's invasion of Ukraine is still a big factor in the gas price spike. The U.S. is effectively energy independent, but bans on Russian oil exports from the U.S. and other countries will have a knock-on effect in world markets. The commodities world is a heavily interconnected one, and oil is priced through a global market. So in that sense, it doesn't really matter who specifically is getting crunched by the loss of Russian oil, because lower supply affects the global prices no matter what. And as we know from Economics 101, when there's less supply of an item in demand, prices rise.
It's the first official school day without an indoor mask mandate for California's K-12 students. But that's not the case for the state's largest school district, Los Angeles Unified. The school district says it's still working with labor partners like the teachers union about replacing the mask mandate with a strong recommendation. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Feature story news in London. I'm Chris Jones. Russia has asked China for military assistance in Ukraine, according to media reports citing US officials. The UK's health secretary says at least 3,000 visas have been approved for Ukrainians fleeing the war to the UK. Russia is urging India to invest in its sanction-hit oil and gas sector, and the Japanese Prime Minister has called for the reform of the UN Security Council in light of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
7 people are injured following a mass shooting on Chicago's South Side. Chicago Police Department Superintendent David Brown says a car pulled up to a group of people who were standing outside a Little Caesars pizzeria.
There was someone who was in the car who we can see on video gets into some kind of discussion with the group, and then almost immediately shots were fired toward the group.
7 men were hit and taken to the hospital. 2 are in critical condition, 5 in serious condition. No arrests have been made. A new poll shows most Americans are against laws prohibiting LGBTQ lessons in the classroom. That's according to a new ABC News poll. The poll found over 60% of respondents were opposed to legislation banning LGBTQ lessons. Results also showed the majority of those who responded in support of a ban were people over the age of 65, Republican, and did not identify as LGBTQ. Just 2 months after announcing the end of his NFL career, Tom Brady is returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for his 23rd NFL season. and fans are reacting.
Wow, this is incredible. I mean, as a Bucs fan for as long as I have been, it's great to see him come back. So I'm excited for it.
In a Sunday post on social media, Brady said he realized his place is still on the field and that he has unfinished business. LeBron James continues to make NBA history. More from Trey Thomas.
The Los Angeles Lakers forward became the first player in league history to make 10,000 points, rebounds, and assists. James reached the milestone with an assist in the second quarter on Sunday's game against the Suns in Phoenix. The 37-year-old sits at over 36,000 points on his storied career and sits behind only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Malone on the NBA's all-time regular season scoring list.
Before the opening bell, Dow futures have jumped almost 400 points. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they could be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging on this lovely Monday. So let's do this. Let's talk about it. Let's go through all the stuff that one would care about of what is going on inside of the world of the news, because that's what we do around here. We talk about what is going on. We talk about the things that we think you care about. We talk about all that fun stuff. If not, what exactly are we doing here? Maybe that's the other question to start talking about. And, maybe we have that discussion for the time being. Who the hell knows? Anyway, so let's get into it right across the path here as we are talking on this lovely Monday. Journalist and filmmaker Brent Renaud has died while covering the war in Ukraine. 2 other journalists are believed to be hospitalized from the Russian fire. No word on whether Brent was on the ground for a specific news outlet, but he had contributed to the New York Times in the past. One of the injured journalists believes that it to be Juan Arredondo. The casualties are suspended in Irpin. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are having that conversation. It's interesting just to take a listen to what is going on as we are speaking. Anyways, death camel. 2 men in Tennessee are dead after a camel escaped the zoo enclosure and attacked them. Law enforcement was called to the scene as soon as the officers began treating the victims. The camel attacked their squad car. In response, the officers put the camel down for the safety of everyone on the scene, according to the police. So, I mean, let's talk about that. Put them down for safety. No, you killed it. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Put it down for safety. I mean, that's a weird wording situation. Put it down for safety. I mean, I don't know. Meanwhile, the wildlife maintenance officers in Montana have put 3 mountain lions that were well, I guess we can say that they were threatening the bighorn sheep population of the Wild Horse Island located in Montana's Flathead Lake. So apparently it was a wild animal kind of weekend as we are talking about it. I mean, this seems to be a lot of things going on as we are moving and talking and all of that fun stuff. So I don't know. What are you thinking here? What are you thinking as you hear this? Do you think that it's a lot of movement going on there or not? I mean, I don't know. So just some things to think about, some things to move around and move and groove as we are talking. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on. Well, this sucks. Customs officials in Philadelphia intercepted 6 shipments of leeches from Bulgaria last week. Nearly 300 leeches were tailed in total and were en route to Connecticut, Florida, and Illinois. Officials ceased the shipments, which violated the U.S. Endangered Species Act. So think about that. All of a sudden you get there and there's some leeches that are leeching, and all of a sudden you say, we have to arrest some people around here because of what the hell's going on. I mean, it's interesting. Why would you want to bring leeches in? For they can leech? I mean, I just don't get it. There's some things to talk about. Anyways, an Atlanta area high school coach is facing suspension for defending himself from a female student who brought a gun to school. The incident went down last August. Kenneth Miller and police officers confronted the student for her behavior. That's when she got upset and hit Miller with a stapler. In response, Miller restrained the student until the officers could engage. Yeah, engage. It was only after the altercation that the student's gun was discovered. At first, Miller's was fired outright, which was later turned to a suspension months later, and he is still suspended. A statement from the school accused Miller in the escalation of the physical altercation with the student crisis. Worth noting, the student hit him first. Also worth noting, she had a gun. There is a clip that is available that does talk about it. So I don't know. It's one of those things that's interesting.
Cater in
Take a
Fulton
listen.
County says he's in trouble with the district for defending himself from a student that brought a gun to school. Tri-Cities high school coach Kenneth Miller was with police as they confronted the student, unaware if the student had a gun on her. He says that when they were talking to her, she became aggressive and hit him with a stapler, so he restrained her until police could take control. Miller's attorney says the student was arrested and Miller was fired. Later, the district changed Miller's punishment to a suspension, but he says that's unacceptable.
I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I only adhered to what Fulton County School Board policy says you're allowed to do.
Teachers get put in terribly dangerous situations, and they have to be supported by the school systems that employ them, because those teachers are our first line of defense against guns and other types of terrible violence that happen in schools.
They say the move from a termination to a suspension creates a barrier to Miller presenting his case and clearing his name. Fulton County Schools sent a statement saying they can't talk about the case until it's resolved.
So there you go. That's what's going on that end. You can pull it up. There is a video there that's readily available, and you get to see the whole thing, the whole thing acting out. Now, what do you think? Was he perfectly fine for defending himself because the girl did hit him with the stapler, or not? I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting question to ask. I think that's the way to put it.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on across the world here. Now might be a good time to go to your mom's attic and find a shoebox of your old Pokemon cards. A first edition 1999 Charizard number 4 card, whatever that means, sold last week for $336,000 through Heritage Auction. Now, I can tell you, I might not understand what the card thing means, but I definitely understand what $336,000 means. That is for sure. So if you're interested in going up there and finding out what the hell is inside of your mama's attic, go out there and do so. Just make sure not to crack a rib. Anyways, Uber and Lyft have been at war with the state governments for years over what they classify their state as staff as contractors, which allows the drivers to keep more of the earnings and give them an increased flexibility. Liberal legislation wants to force these companies to instead pay minimum wages and health benefits. Now, a new ride hauling app is appealing to the crowd with a fleet of drivers that promises an hourly wage and full benefits for its staff. It's called Alto. It's debuting in the service area of San Francisco. All vehicles are Buick Enclaves. Also says that the fleet will be electric next year. They currently have about 50 vehicles. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Uber and Lyft should be regulated, where there should be an employee-employer relationship, or are you okay with them being independent contractors, or do you kind of just sit back and go, I don't really give two shits, I just want my car to arrive, and let's move forward? I don't know. There is something there for one side or the other.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, a Milwaukee woman and her 3 siblings now hold the record for the highest combined ages. Gerald Berger is 100, her sister Marjorie is 97, and her brother Robert and Richard are 93 and 92. All told, including the days since their last birthdays, that's nearly 384 years combined. The Guinness World of World Records, the milestones was late last year. So there you go. There you go. You and your siblings, 394 years old combined. Wow, that's something to think about. Anyways, let's talk about what happened in the box office, because some people are going to care about that. So let's do that. At number 10 was Marry Me with $345,000. At number 9 was Serrano with $390,000. At number 8 was Scream with $445,000. At number 7 was Jackass Forever with $1.1 million. Sing 2 with $1.5 million. At number 5 was Death on the Nile with $2.5 million. At number 4 was Spider-Man No Way Home with $4 million. At number 3 was Dog, $5.3 million. At number 2, Uncharted with $9.2 million. And at the number one spot was The Batman with $66 million. So there you go. That's what's going on inside of the box office. If you care to know and want to, play the games, you're more than welcome on going to the box office and doing so, because that's going to be important as we are talking. Anyways, let's get into some other things that are happening inside of this lovely world of ours. Do we want to go a little swampy real quick? Let's get swampy. Barack Obama tested positive for COVID-19. Former President Obama has tested positive for COVID-19. Michael Kastner has the latest.
Obama took to his Twitter account to announce his positive test Sunday. The former president said he and wife Michelle are grateful to be vaccinated and boosted. Obama went on to say Michelle had tested negative for the virus. He said he has a bit of a scratchy throat, but he's feeling fine otherwise. The 44th president said his positive test is a reminder to get vaccinated, even as cases of the virus go down. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, thanks, Michael, for that one as we are talking. So let's talk about some other things real quick, because we're going to have to talk about this. The World Organization is fearful that the war on Ukraine could make the COVID-19 pandemic worse. Trey Thomas has some information about that one.
Maria Van Kerkhove with the WHO says low vaccination rates in Ukraine and neighboring countries could lead to wider virus spread. She added this virus will take opportunities to continue to spread. There's also fear that refugees getting out of Ukraine could pose challenges with the pandemic. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for letting us know what is going on there. Let's go ahead and continue with the sequence here in talking about some of the information here. So we'll jump over here and mention this. A fourth COVID vaccine dose may be needed. The CEO of Pfizer says the fourth dose of COVID vaccine may be needed.
To make not only a vaccine that will protect against all variants, including Omicron, but also something that can protect for at least a year.
Okay, appearing on CBS Face the Nation, Albert Bourla said that the third dose protects against the death and hospitalization, but not strongly against the infection. Pfizer also recently submitted data to the FDA concerning a fourth dose. Albert also mentioned building a better flu vaccine and tackling cancer treatments as Pfizer's goals of the future. Pfizer's CEO also said that the fourth dose may be needed, as we did talk about.
Protection that we're getting from the third, actually quite good for hospitalizations and deaths, is not that good against infections, but doesn't last very long.
So Albert mentioned the tackling cancer treatments as Pfizer's goal in the future.
Train our immune system through mRNA to attack our cancer cells, to recognize them as an enemy and try to attack them.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there to start thinking about. You kind of start thinking about this, and I'm just going to mention this, and don't get it the wrong way as I say this. If you take a look at a vaccine card, did you realize that it was one shot, two shots? So it said you're going to have to take one and then come back and take another. And then there was two other portions on a traditional card that said other, 3 and 4. But that was there since day one. I don't know. It's kind of one of those weird things in life.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, let's continue talking. Gas prices hold steady. Gas prices are holding steady today at $4.32 a gallon for regular unleaded. That's a bit of a relief for many folks who drive for a living, like John Hickman in Colorado.
You got to think about your distance and how far you're going to go and how the rate of pay is going to be for it, for the dash. And I've also seen with gas prices going up, a lot of people, they're not tipping as well either. So I think it might be affecting them too.
According to AAA, today's national average is unchanged from Sunday, but it's up. It's up from the 4.46 drivers that were paying about a week ago. California still has hit the hardest with the highest prices at $5.74 on average statewide. $5.74. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, let's justify that, but $5.74 at the pump. Boy, that will make you think about some things differently. That is for sure, and I don't mean that in the context that I normally say thinking about things differently. Anyways, it's close enough. It is 29 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it's time to do what we normally do right around this time.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about it. You know that every once in a while we start moving, we start giving some deep thought, we start going, okay, we are in this forefront of our world where we need to do something. We are in this forefront in our world that something needs to change. We are in this forefront of it is time to do X, Y, or Z. So if you are looking into this little screen right now as we're hanging out, what's holding you back from the next thing you want to do? Like, seriously, are you sitting back and you're wanting to do something, but you kept on going, well, not yet. Not yet. It's time to wait a little bit more. I'm waiting for that perfect day. I'm waiting for that perfect season. I am waiting for things to fall into the trajectory that I have imagined in my head. Are you waiting for that? I mean, because I think that a lot of times, a lot of us sit back and go, if A happens and I already had C planned out, then I'll expect B to happen and then I'll move on to C because I already knew how C was going to connect me to D. Have you done that before? But all these things have to strategically fall into place before you go ahead and do so. No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious as you sit back and think about it. Because here's what I want to tell you, and I think we should probably have this discussion because I think it's kind of interesting. If you take a look at yesterday's little messaging thing with Mr. Tom Brady when he was saying that he was coming back, it said, here's what he wrote on his post. It said, these 2 past months, I have realized that my place is still on the field, not in the stands. The time will come, but it's not now. I love my teammates. I love my supportive family. Without them, none of this is possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa. We have unfinished business. And then it finishes with the 3 letters that say LFG. LFG. Now, I'm going to tell you, this man a few months ago decided to go out there and tell the world that he was taking the determination that he was going to retire, that he was done, that the game had not passed him away, but it was time to focus on his energy on other things. This was 2 months ago. 2 months ago. And, you know, not everybody was loving it. Some people were happy, some people were not. But he said 2 months ago that he was done. And now we're seeing a couple months later that he's saying, I got unfinished business. And listen, I know you're probably going to sit there for a moment and go, but, you know, he did it in the backward sequence. He was already a stellar quarterback in regards of what he was doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Not a lot of people love him because of how good he is. And that's okay. And some people really love him because on how good he is. And that's okay too. But here's the thing. The man stood up and made the determination that it was his time. And then he thought about it and said, nah, it ain't my time. It's time to consider time to go. It's time to consider to move on. And he had no fear on doing so. And now some people will say, well, it's a combination of fame and riches and blah, 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 blah. We can always sit back and have excuses on why we have not done the things that we are willing to not to do at that particular moment in time. We can always have the discussion, but man, is it a terrible scenario? Is it a shitty scenario to live with the what if? What if you had that opportunity to decide that it's not the what if? Because I'm going to tell you, you're going to go out there at one time or another, and you're going to want to do something, and guess what? You're going to fail. And sometimes you're going to succeed. And sometimes that failure is going to lead you to the success that you wanted. But there is so much fear at times in regards of, I cannot let people know that I have failed at something. And I kind of chuckle at that. Because some of the greatest successes that I've ever had, me personally, have been because of failures. I did not look at something on being able to fail an X moment. But by it failing the way that it did, then I knew I could make something better. And listen, that consists of a lot of things when I say that. It has been my professional career. It has been friendships. It has been personal relationships. So there's let's be real, even relationships with my family. And that's what it boils down to, is taking that risk where a lot of time people are not willing to do so. Now, as we sit here and I talked about this and I referenced this, in that messaging, he did use the 3 letters of LFG. Now, you know and I know that Tom Brady is TB, and he has a very popular brand TB12. So what the hell is LFG? So I guess if you need a word of encouragement, and probably the greatest football player of all time is telling you this, in regards of what he posted via Twitter, do you know what LFG stands for? Let's fucking go. So maybe that's what your motivation is today. Maybe it's time to get up and realize that it's time for that exactly there. It's time to let's fucking go. What are you waiting for? Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. Things can change in an instant. Don't want to live with that what if scenario. I'm telling you. That would be one of the worst life regrets. What if? And no, I'm not going to say it this time, because I really do feel that I know what I'm talking about today.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number 1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. Okay, there you go. 42 minutes past the top of the hour. This is still the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah. Yeah, this is Superintendent McCupcakes. I Hate the World and Everything. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. And thank you to Superintendent McCupcakes for allowing us to play this one. So there you go. That's the move and the groove of things. Thank you to Mick Cupcakes, Superintendent Mick Cupcakes, for allowing us to play this one. You know, I have to say that in a serious face as we are talking about it. Anyway, so here you go. The most important thing that I'm going to tell you throughout the show, man, you know how it is. This is the portion that we talk about all the time. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. There you go. That's all you have to do. Pretty simple process. And listen, this, you might sit there and go, well, I don't need this. I don't need this for me. But you might know someone who needs this information. So becoming knowledgeable about something to be able to share with others could be important. Also, you can get to read some real stories that are there. You can make a difference in your local community, or you could even join a local chapter if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. All you have to do, like I said, is go to afsp.org or call 1-800-273-8255 or text the word TALK to 741-741. There you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there as we are talking. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on in the overnight and all that. So let's talk about this. OPEC nations talk ramping up for oil production. OPEC nations have been talking about increasing oil production, then changing their minds. Mike Bauer has more information.
Thanks to COVID, in spring 2020, global stay-at-home orders meant nobody needed to gas up and get to the office. With demand cratering, oil prices did too. In turn, OPEC heavily cut production to support prices, and they've kept production targets low since then. World leaders had been asking OPEC to increase production. In one confusing development this week, the United Arab Emirates ambassador to Washington said that the country wants to increase oil production and will encourage its partners in OPEC to do so. But later, the UAE's Minister of Energy and Infrastructure tweeted that the nation will stick to its OPEC agreement and gradually raise production. I'm Mike Bauer.
Okay, thank Mike Bauer for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of that particular world. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting one here over the next little bit as things do increase, not increase, or whatsoever, how the world will be seen in regards of how the things will impact us across here in the United States. So anyways, let's talk about some shrinkflation. Yeah, it's happening again. The changes are subtle and sneaky, but discerning shoppers have probably noticed that lately that some products are shrinking in size or quantity, or both. Record inflation means that we're paying more for everyday purchases like paper products, shampoo, well, not for my case, for shampoo, as well as food. So let's see, and beverages. Companies can raise prices, and many are, but some decided to go this route. Charge customers the same price while offering less. Product downsizing, also known as shrinkflation, happens during high times of high inflation because the companies are also more are paying for more for raw materials and production and delivery costs. According to Edgar Drowski from consumerworld.org, he says that shrinkflation is becoming increasing and prevalent these days, and his organization has noted that toilet paper shorter rolls, cookies smaller, Gatorade smaller, and conditioner new squeeze tube containers less. Experts say that the companies do this because raising prices is the last resort, and if you ever noticeable consumer, and can include, influence on demand. On the plus side, it's no longer considered cry for help when you eat all the ice cream straight out of the container. So there you go. And then let's do this then. If you sent to the store for a pound of bacon and you're going and you come back with 4 packages, I'm pretty sure that has changed what shrinkflation is. So there you go. And so I'm pretty sure also someone has also shrinkflated my gas tank because I can only put a few gallons or liters in there these days. I mean, so some things to think about. But let's talk about that. Are you noticing as you're buying stuff that things are becoming smaller, or you're not getting the same amount of X as you were before? I mean, I think it's a thing. It definitely seems that way as you're going around and about. Anyways, let's try to do some things on a positive note. Let's bring in some Johnny Smalls over here and let him tell you what's going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, March 14th, 2022. Equity markets continue to fall last week in the wake of the Russian aggression and the fallout from it. The S&P 500 fell more than 1% on Friday alone, putting the index in danger of breaking below the 4,200 level for the third time in as many weeks. If this level is broken again, it could lead to a capitulation and full reversal in the market. With no reason to buy, the bulls are more likely to pull their cash out of the market and sit around waiting to see what happens. This is going to be another tough week for the market with or without the war in Ukraine. Not only is the PPI data due out Tuesday, but the FOMC is slated to issue its first interest rate hike since the pandemic started Wednesday afternoon. The market is pricing it at a 25 basis point hike, but a hot PPI figure could lead them to a more aggressive posture. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, so you already know that Wednesday around here is going to be one of those things that a lot of people are going to be looking at, trying to figure out what the hell is going to happen on that side of the planet when it comes to the index portion. So let's just be realistic when it's all said and done. Anyways, let's talk about some other things real quick. NYPD says that homeless shooting in New York connected to similar ones in D.C. The NYPD continues to search for the gunman who fired shots at homeless men in Manhattan over the weekend. Noam Layden reports more about it.
Mayor Adams says the attacks on the homeless are terrifying.
Being homeless should not turn into a homicide, and I want to catch this guy right back.
Police in Washington, D.C. say they're also looking for the same man for several violent attacks on the homeless there. Mayor Adams, along with the mayor of D.C., pleading with the homeless to get off the streets and into shelter, at least until the gunman is found and arrested. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thanks, Noam, for that information right there. But you see what exactly is going on, kind of some strange times as we are taking a look at what is going on. So let's talk real quick just about some things. Kevin Durant calls NYC COVID protocols ridiculous. Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant is blasting New York City Mayor Eric Adams for the coronavirus vaccine rule that continues to keep teammates Kyrie Irving on the sidelines.
At this point now, somebody's trying to make a statement or a point to flex their authority. Everybody out here looking for attention, and that's what I feel like the mayor wants right now, some attention.
Irving was allowed to watch Sunday's game between the Nets and the Knicks, but couldn't play because of private sector workers in New York City are required to get coronavirus vaccine. Irving remains unvaccinated. During the post-game comments, Durant said that it's ridiculous that the unvaccinated person can watch the game but can't play. Kevin Durant is not happy with New York City Mayor Eric Adams is not allowing Kyrie Irving to play.
You know, people didn't understand what was going on, but now it just looks stupid. So hopefully, Eric, you got to figure this out.
So there you go. That's some information there. Let's see if we can do some motivation real quick, because it is 50 minutes past the top of the hour.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today, we have a tribute to quotes from the unknown. Here's a few anonymous quotes. Good things come to those who get them. I like that. Here's another. The greatest mistake we make is living in constant fear that we will make one. Another great quote. It's amazing to me that these are unclaimed. They're both great quotes, and they kind of go together. Don't be afraid to go out and get what you want. So don't wait in the office for it to come to you. If you do that because you're afraid you might make a mistake, you already made a mistake by waiting. Get out there and try. Win or lose, you're already ahead by trying. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. A strong, healthy core is crucial for our health and posture. So how do you know if your core strength is where it needs to be? Here are a few signs that may indicate that your core is not at its optimal strength. First, your back hurts. Back pain is the most common side effect of a weak core. If your core muscles aren't conditioned to engage when they're supposed to in order to support your spine is at risk of being overworked and muscular strain and tension become a problem. Next, you have poor balance and slouch all the time. Lastly, your core may need some strengthening if you notice that you have a tendency to hold your breath, which happens because when your core lacks stability, your diaphragm will contract to compensate. One of the most telltale signs that this is happening is that you tend to hold your breath when you exercise. For additional information, check out alasamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, trying to be something. I'm not sure if 100% if entertaining is part of the gig, but hey, that's part of the conversation that we are having. So anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come along, we'll take a listen to some music, do some things over there, and, you know, get into some trouble, because I think that that's what we do from time to time as we are hanging. Anyways, let's talk about this. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's night's drawing will be for $22 million jackpot or a $14.5 million cash payout if you want to play the game. If you don't want to play the game, then it doesn't matter to you, and then we're just kind of wasting your time in regards to talking about it. So I think we've already taken it a little bit too far. So sorry about that. Anyways, 53 minutes past the top of the hour. here. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Let's see. If we go all the way back to 2018, a twin study conducted by NASA finds that Scott Kelly is no longer identical to his twin brother after spending 1 year in space. The study found that 7% of Scott's genes were altered. He was also slightly taller than his twin due to the lack of gravity in space. So there you go. So I guess if you have a twin or if you want to change the way that you look, go to space for a year and things will change for you. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Simone Biles turns 27. Caitlin Lowry turns 30. Steph Curry turns 34. Sammy Giannocola turns 35. Taylor Hanson turns 39. Daniel Gills, 46. Brian Quinn, 46. Grace Parks, 48. Amir Khan turns 57. Billy Crystal, 74. Quincy Jones, 89. And Michael Caine. Yes, that Michael Caine, from The Dark Knight fame, Alfred. Yeah, he turns 89 today as well. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are going on today. If you're looking for a reason to celebrate, I have a couple of those for you. It's National Children's Craft Day, National Learn About Butterflies Day, National Potato Chip Day, National Write Down Your Story Day, National Napping Day, and then today is National Pie Day. And that's not P-I-E pie, it is P-I pie, like the 3.14, and continuing number sequence that follows. It's that kind of pie day. So if you're so inclined, you have an opportunity to celebrate it. I think it's a great opportunity to do so. Anyways, in talking about some of the news of the weird and some of the news of the things that you get to do that you can do or not do or whatsoever, I had a weird thing occur to me. I was presented with an offer to do something, and I'm going to talk about it here. Are you familiar with blockchain and cryptocurrency? Are you familiar with the Internet of Things? So somebody presented something to me that they're calling an iHub. And it's talking about how the Internet of Things work. We have put it onto our website if you want to take a look at it. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. And it's interesting on how this whole network of Internet of Things is coming about. I would like for you to take a look at it and tell me what you think about it, because I think it's interesting. Would love to hear more about you in regards of what your thought process is. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com if you want to come hang out and give us a little chatty on what your thought process is with it. So there you go. Some things to think about for sure. Anyways, let's continue going because we're almost out of time. It just seems sometimes like we just fly by as things are happening here. Let me give you some Wack Facts real quick, or do you want to go with Did You Know? I think we should go with some Wack Facts. Yeah, let's go with some Wack Facts. Let's do that. From birth to toilet training, a baby goes through the average of 8,000 changes of diapers. The space between the eyebrows is called glabella, derivative from the Latin word glabellus, which is meaning smooth. The word porcupine means spiny pig in French. The average English speaker has about 50,000 words in their mind and finds the right one in 600 milliseconds. Women have the most taste bud, or have more taste buds than men. Ancient Romans left graffiti on Egyptian pyramids saying things like, "I didn't like anything but the esophagus that I can read." What? The esophagus that I can read? How are you reading somebody's esophagus? And how the hell did you know what esophagus was? Maybe that's another question to talk about for sure. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I got one of those for you. You're only young once. After that, you have to think up some other excuses. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What is the most surprising thing that you have ever overheard about yourself? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Go to, let's see, 24% of the U.S. admit that I have actually cried over this. What is it? A bad haircut. I haven't had one of those in a long time. I just have the bald cut. By the way, now my brain has lost it. I have lost it. Did I say go to the website when I was talking about the hub thing by going to safetyfm.com/iHub? I don't remember now. I have totally lost it. Safetyfm.com/iHub. So there you go if you wanted to know a little bit more about that. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with us this morning as we are hanging and banging. Like I said, I am going to radiobig.fm if you want to come over there and do some things together. It's always a good time as you and I get to hang out. And thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM, and that is the listener, because without you, we can't do what we do here, and that is for sure. Thank you for always supporting what we have going on and also interacting with our sponsors, because without them, well, we can bring this stuff to you for free. Anyway, so there you go. That's a lot going on. If I can leave you today with a deep thought, I would love to leave you with this one. The tragedy in life doesn't lie in not reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goal to reach. Think about that today. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Radio.